Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Tuesday, January 2, 2024. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Government moves to repossess unused co-op lands. Labor Ministry recovers $69 million in restitution for employees. Agro-processing facilities will be integrated with gas-to-energy project, says MUSTAPHA. GDF to be strengthened, actions towards free university education among government's 2024 plans, and 2023 tested our nation's determination, resilience, says President Ali. Now for the news in detail. The Ministry of Labor plans to repossess unused lands under the Stship of Cooperative Societies. An audit exercise is currently ongoing to determine which interim management committees would be discontinued, with their lands being utilized for other development purposes. Trishelle Sobers has our lead story tonight.
In October of 2023, the government had given cooperative societies some time to fix their affairs. However, the administration continues to receive complaints regarding the inadequate management from members of co-op societies. During his ministry's end-of-year press conference on Tuesday, Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton revealed that the audit reports will be ready by the first quarter of 2024, just in time for co-op societies' annual general meeting. If it is revealed during the said meeting that the current management committees are not managing the affairs of the co-op properly, the minister has instructed that the Chief Co-op Development Officer utilize his powers to repossess the lands under such societies. Minister Hamilton explained that this process will only affect multi-purpose co-ops that utilize lands for agriculture and forestry activities.
We form an agricultural co-op, we have the membership, there's a procedure, and we are seeking 500 acres of land to do rice cultivation. They have to submit, right, Mr. Pancho, a work program, a plan. This is how we would execute this project, the time span of we would execute it. Most, if not all of them, they fail in that regard. And so they have broken the contract with the state entity.
Meanwhile, efforts are ongoing to ensure all co-op housing schemes are regularized and each resident receives his or her land transport, regardless of whether their co-op society is functioning. This exercise is being spearheaded through a partnership between the Labor Ministry's Co-op Department, the Ministry of Housing and Water, and the Attorney General Chambers.
What the government is doing is ensuring that every owner of a property in a co-op scheme, they be empowered. Okay, you might ask, why? You have people who have $70 million house and more in this scheme that are useless to them because the land is owned in this block as a co-op. They don't have access to a transport that they could go collateralize and monetize. They just have a building. But they can't go to the bank and say, okay, loan me some money to develop a business, or I want to send my child to university. And we are bringing that to an end. We will bring it to an end.
The Labor Minister first indicated that government would be seeking to repossess tens of thousands of acres of undeveloped lands that are held by co-op societies in January during the 2023 national budget debates. It is estimated that there are over 1,735 cooperative societies in Guyana. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Following complaints from employees, the Ministry of Labor was able to recover $69 million from employers in 2023. This is according to Labor Minister Joseph Hamilton, who disclosed that an alarming number of complaints were filed against security companies. Trishelle Sobers joins us again with the details in this report.
In 2023, a total of 912 complaints from employees regarding various issues such as termination benefits, annual leave, unlawful deductions from salaries, overtime payments, failure to pay minimum wage, and severance payments were lodged at the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry's Labor Department was able to resolve 85% of these complaints on behalf of the employees, and the other 15% would be resolved within the first quarter of 2024. In this regard, 32 matters were filed in the magistrate courts. Of that, 21 cases were resolved last year, while 11 are still before the courts and are at different stages in the legal proceedings. As a result of the resolved cases, a total of $69 million was recovered on behalf of employees, a 42% increase when compared to 2022. During his ministry's end-of-year press conference on Tuesday, Subject Minister Joseph Hamilton disclosed that a large proportion of complaints were made by workers employed in the private security sector. It was revealed that several companies in the sector aforementioned refused to pay basic minimum wage of $60,147 per month.
I mean, people still failing to pay $60-something thousand per month, $15,000 something per week. We still have to deal with that. Those are matters in court. Most especially and grievously, the security companies, notorious. One time we had how many beforehand cases against one person in the court here. As I speak to you, CLO is looking at a matter where somebody's offering $10 million to resolve an issue. He's saying to me when he started to compute the $10 million, and he scratched the surface of what they owe the employees.
Minister Hamilton explained that government's goal is to resolve the remaining cases this year and engage employers through forums such as seminars in an effort to reduce such complaints. Those will be paired with efforts to conduct business inspections to ensure companies comply with the legislative requirements governing conditions of work. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Among the various benefits that the Gas to Shore project would bring to the agriculture sector is cheaper energy, and the government is looking to integrate its agro-processing facilities with the ambitious project in order to bring down agro-processing costs and expand the manufacturing side of agriculture. Here are the details from Gerald Bryan.
During his year-end press conference, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa reflected on the impact the gas-to-energy project will have on agriculture. According to Mustafa, the project will allow for manufacturers and food processors to get both cheaper and more reliable power. This will also lead to an expansion of food production.
Recently, I've had a discussion with one of a company came in Guyana who are interested in producing fertilizer. You know, with the Russian-Ukraine war, we have seen an escalation with the cost of fertilizer. And if we can produce our own fertilizer in Guyana, that will be a big thing for us in terms of reduction of the cost of production. So if we can have reduction of fertilizer costs, if we can have a reduction in energy costs for manufacturing in terms of agro-processing, that will help us tremendously. That will redound back to the sector in terms of producing more and getting cheaper input in these agriculture sectors.
With this in mind, the minister noted that the government is also looking to integrate its food processing facilities with the project.
What we are now doing, especially with the new GMC, they have been working with a number of stakeholders, agro-processors. And what we have been building, we built close to about 13 of those agro-processing facilities across the country. We need proper energy to run these places because the lines that we have there will demand what we want to produce. For example, we are working with various groups across the country. Right here on the coast, we have built a number of those, but we can't depend solely on the network that we have now in GPL.
Under the gas-to-energy project, an integrated natural gas liquid plant and 300 megawatt combined cycle gas turbine power plant will be built. An industrial park called the Wales Development Zone will also be built and benefit directly from the gas. With a timeline to deliver rich gas by the end of 2024 and the NGL plant to be online by 2025, works are progressing on the project. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Gerald Bryan joins us again to report that the contractors working on a number of pump stations, for instances those at Canal Number 1 in Region 3 and at Charity in Region 2, have been given a strict deadline by which they are expected to complete these projects and a stern warning by the government that those deadlines must be met. Here is more.
It was reported in October that a number of pump stations being constructed in various regions were facing delays. Among them were pump stations at Charity, Canal Number 1, Cottage and Blackbush Polder, the latter of which actually resulted in the contract being terminated. During his year-end press conference, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa acknowledged the delays these projects have faced. According to him, the government recently met with these contractors and they were warned to stick to the revised deadlines for the projects. Meanwhile, the minister said the $1.3 billion in rehabilitation works on the Liliendal Pump Station are well on track for completion.
The Liliendal Pump Station, yes, is on track, and I'm hoping, very optimistic, yes, it will meet its deadline. And you know for a fact that that is a major project, that is a World Bank project, right? And I'm hoping that it will meet its deadline. And other pump station too, not only the Liliendal one, those that were published in Stabrook News, those like people, the opposition MP like Maipal was raising. All right, we met with the contractors. The deadline, they have to complete it by the specific deadline that were set. All the contractors we met with. The places like the canals one, the A-line at canals, the charity, the Cozier, all those areas. I can list it. They want at Cottage, all the contractors we met with a week ago. Last week, Thursday, we met with them. And they signed that, yes, all the construction will be completed.
After opposition member of parliament Ganesh Maipal had highlighted delays in these projects, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority had explained the factors behind the setbacks. For instance, NDIA had explained that Charity Pump Station was delayed because of squatters. At the time, however, the agency had said that works were now progressing. Other factors cited were relocating existing infrastructure and constructing new ones. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Coming up, man shot dead, one critical during robbery at wedding house, and government makes withdrawal of US $152.1 million from NRF. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
To tell you about my mom and how I lost her, it was a very hard reality for me.
I met Crystal through a friend who asked me to speak to her. The first time I saw her, my spirit just took a liking to her. I see Crystal as my daughter. I haven't given birth to Crystal, but I feel as if I do.
I felt alone. I got the support I needed from her.
I understand that Crystal was a lesbian. I choose to accept and embrace and love everybody. I'm a Christian and I believe we are all God's children. God loves everyone.
It's about time we all get educated enough to know that, you know what, everybody is just the same human.
She never questioned it. She just supported me right through it.
So I see her as a young woman full of potential.
Crystal and every gay and lesbian person should be treated with respect in Guyana.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
On the job, you know how it goes. 1 minute everything's going right and the next something goes wrong. Don't worry, Premier Insurance will make things right again. For all risk insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.ui. Fuel your success. Premier insurance coverage for less.
It's a new day with Shilling Oil. A unique blend of natural oils to help ease and soothe the day-to-day discomforts of life. Get relief from muscle and joint pain, headaches, and congestion. Shilling Oil lets you get back to the things you love doing most. Water relief with Shilling Oil. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions for you to check if you are listed and if your particulars are accurate. If you will be 18 years or over by December 31, 2023, a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. For inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not in the PLE, apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were last registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person applying for a change or correction in his or her particulars must provide the relevant original documents: birth certificate and deed poll in the case of a name change by deed poll, marriage certificate and ID card in the case of name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who was registered in her married name but who is now desirous of returning to her maiden name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate in the case of correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on January 15, 2024. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. In his New Year's Day message to the nation, President Dr. Irfan Ali reflected on some of the successes of the past year and also on some of the nation's most difficult times, developments which he expressed have truly tested the country's collective determination and resilience. Here's what he had to say.
We mourn the loss of our precious angels at Madhya and the tragic deaths of our heroic servicemen in a helicopter crash. In these moments of anguish, our people united, sharing grief and providing moral and material support to those who have lost loved ones. These tragedies were indeed jolting, but they did not floor us. We did not wilt or waver. We proved that we are a resilient nation. The past year also witnessed a threat to our sovereignty and territorial integrity. I'm heartened by the unity displayed by our people in defending our motherland. The past year also saw successes and triumphs. Our economy remains on a rock-solid footing, registering in 2023 phenomenal economic growth that is estimated at almost 40%. This achievement is not just a number. It is a reflection of the concerted efforts and strategic decisions made to propel our economy forward. In 2023, we did not only shine in the area of our economy. Our social services, housing, water, sanitation, education, and health continue to improve, bringing greater benefits to our people. We bask in our moments of glory and triumph. Who will never forget how our spirits soared in 2023 when the Guyana Amazon Warriors clinched victory in the coveted Caribbean Premier League final, right here at home? Who will forget how this team brought our people together and how much its success lifted our nation? Our sportsmen and sportswomen continue to excel, bringing immense joy and glory to our nation. Their achievements not only showcase the talent and dedication of our athletes, but also serves as a source of inspiration for the entire nation.
Meanwhile, President Ali, in his New Year's Day message, also hinted at a number of plans and policies his government has formulated for the continued development of the country and the upliftment of the people. Among those plans are concrete action towards the realization of free education at the University of Guyana come 2025 and the strengthening of Guyana's military. Let's have a look.
The new year, 2024, will see us advance more rapidly along this path as we shape the destiny of present and future generations. In the next couple of weeks, we'll unveil the 2024 budget. This budget will detail our expenditure and revenue plans for the coming year. It will deliver on our promise to continuously improve the lives of Guyanese. Guyanese are going to benefit from improved infrastructural and public services, including water, housing, and education. Several major road projects are slated for completion and will make commuting easier. We expect in 2024 sugar production to be increased as we continue to invest in the sector's contribution to rural employment and the rural economy. Rice production, aquaculture, and other initiatives will lead to increased food production. This new year, we'll also see significant investment in education, including preparations for the rollout of free university education in 2025. The capacity and capabilities of our defense force will be strengthened to allow for improvements in the defense of our sovereignty and our territorial integrity. Cost of living interventions will be made to cushion any spikes in prices in our economy. We want to put more money into the pockets of people. Our policy-making matrix will advance this ideal and idea of putting more money in the pockets of our people. Workers will continue to benefit from increase in their wages and salaries, augmenting the other measures which we will take to enhance household disposable income. I assure all Guyanese that the government will continue to work tirelessly for your upliftment in the coming year.
A drug addiction problem is severely impacting the Amerindian community of Yupukari in the Rupununi savannas, and officials there are calling for assistance to tackle the problem. Andrew Carmichael recently visited the community and filed this report.
Leaders of the remote Amerindian community of Yupukari, situated on the eastern end of South Rupununi in Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo, are calling on authorities to provide needed assistance for them to tackle the rising alcohol abuse affecting the community. Deputy Tushao Cindy Holland told this newscast that the alcohol abuse is one of the major challenges affecting the community of about 700 registered inhabitants.
We have a lot of alcohol abuse in the community, whereas it affects everything. You have to do like infrastructure, even working in the community on a community level. It is very hard to get people to come out to do work because of alcohol. Either they are drunk and they cannot turn up on time to do work. So that is one of the biggest challenges we have in the community.
Yupukari is a remote community situated about 28 kilometers off of the Rupununi Highway. Holland says the Yupukari Village Council has not put any mechanisms in place to address the issue, but external assistance is needed. However, she noted that grants from the government to the community during 2023 have provided some economic benefits, thus bringing a small form of relief to the abuse of alcohol and other substances.
I've been asking for a long time when I attend workshops and meetings and so on. I always mention to them that we need something in the community that would involve our youths, especially our youths. It is carrying away the minds of our youths. So there is no answer to that. Nobody never responded to us when I asked for that help, because we greatly need it in the community. You know, some education awareness would be on drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and the list goes on.
Last year when I was here, I was told that one of the things that had been affecting this community was the fact that there was no economic activity, and so persons had been migrating, especially younger persons. Well, you were telling me how the grants and so on are helping.
Right now with the grant that we have, and I think we are seeing most of our youths or our people or our villagers are in the community, but it is just limited, you know, it's limited. But if there is a lot of more of the job opportunities in the community, we will have our people back in the community. Yes, indeed, that was a big issue. Like people going away to look for job out elsewhere, in the mining areas in Brazil and so forth.
What about agriculture, the scope for agriculture?
Well, now with this food security, yes, agriculture is a plus, but as you can see, our tractor is down. We don't have any tractor to do our farming. You know, And even if we do the farming, where is the transportation to take out our produce? That has been a challenge also for years. You know, we had no transportation to take our produce out to Lethem. Lethem is our closest town, so we take all our produce and so out to Lethem.
Most families farm cassava, which they use for personal use. Only 6 persons cultivating a total of about 20 acres are involved in commercial farming at Yupukari.
There is more now that they're doing in groups. They're doing group farming, but not by big acres, but you know, at least something they're starting off with. No.
What do you think this community might help this community to develop at a faster rate?
Well, we got the tourism, if we boost up the tourism and agriculture, I would say those 2 things.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
A wedding celebration on New Year's Eve turned deadly when bandits invaded the reception at Canal No. 2 Polder, West Bank, Demerara, and shot 57-year-old Manny Paul Rambarak, called Anand, whom they relieved of his gold band, valued at some $250,000, while he was rendered critically injured. This robbery resulted in 40-year-old Natram Persad, called Vishal, also being fatally shot. Police detailed that 3 bandits armed and wearing masks invaded the wedding house at around 20 hours 50 and discharged a few rounds while they executed a robbery. The suspects then exited the yard, but Persad chased behind them and a scuffle ensued, during which Persad was shot. The bandits then made good their escape, while Persad was taken to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Rambarak was taken to the Woodlands Hospital, where he had to undergo surgery. Rambarak received a gunshot injury to his stomach, the warhead exiting his lower back, while Persad received a gunshot injury to the back of his head. Detectives processed the scene and 3.45 mm spent shells were recovered. Investigations are ongoing. We now tell you that the government's final withdrawal from the Natural Resource Fund for 2023 was made on December 27 to the tune of US $152.1 million, equivalent to 31.6 billion Guyana dollars. This transfer brings the accumulated withdrawals for 2023 to US $1.002 billion, equivalent to 208.4 billion Guyana dollars, in line with the total 208.9 billion Guyana dollars approved to be withdrawn in 2023. It would be recalled that in 2021, the government had amended the Natural Resource Fund Act to bring greater transparency and accountability to the management of Guyana's oil resources, including the requirement of the government to seek annual parliamentary approval for withdrawals from the NRF. Pursuant to that provision, as part of its consideration of the budget process, the Parliament approved 208.9 billion Guyana dollars to be withdrawn from the NRF in 2023. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to close vehicular traffic on Wednesday, January 3, 2024 at 22 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 9 hours 10 on Wednesday, January 3, 2024, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
GDF Cops Elite League Cup Championship and Tudor Drakes lead Mile Rock to UDFA Futsal Championship. Details of these stories in the Sportcast sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Complete control of power is in your hands with the ultimate U.S. brand Generac generators from Sylvie's Variety Store. Get the supply and reliability you need every time. From 1,800 to 8,000 watts of power for residential and commercial use. Recoil and electric start with gasoline engines. Generac generators from the authorized dealers Sylvie's Variety Store.
Superbet, your best bet. Do you wish to pass some time and win while doing so? Play our Superbet online games. Choose from over 200 online games that are easy to play. Visit www.superbet.gy to choose your game. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and